So let's get started. So today's lesson is passive voice. So as we know that passive voice is used with just 6 tenses, alright, and it's not commonly used with other tenses, alright. So اللي كنعرفو هو ان passive voice كتستعمل مع 6 ديال التنسز الاخرين ما كيتستعملش معاهم بزاف، غير مره ماشي ديما، يعني ماشي commonly كتستعمل معاهم. المهم، so let's get started. We will use the passive voice with just 6 tenses, alright, with the simple present tenses and with the simple perfect tenses. Okay, so the first thing is what is the forms of the verb be. Alright, as we can see here in this chart, we have the verb be. In the infinitive is be, of course. In the present is or are. In the past is was or were, and in the past participle is been. Okay, so and also as we know that we must change the subject, alright. The subjects, of course, I becomes me, he becomes him, she becomes her, and so on. So خاصكم ان تعقلوا على هاد جوج ديال الجداول الا باغيين انكم ما يكونش عندكم مشكل مع الباسيف فويس. هاد جوج جداول مهمين بزاف. alright, so let's practice. So but before we practice, we start practicing, let's ask ourselves what is the rule of passive voice. As we know that the rule is very simple, which is be plus past participle. Okay, it's very simple. ولكن على قداش ما هي سهله، كاين شي ناس كيتلفوا ليهم هذا، ملي كيبغوا يبدلوا من active voice to passive voice كيوقع لهم بعض المشاكل، بعض الاخطاء اللي ممكن تكون بساط. So we are here to make all these things easy for you, alright. So let's get started with the past simple. So we have here an example. Sana ate apple. So the first thing you have to do is to underline all the elements: the subject, the main verb, and the object. And after that you put the object in the beginning, of course capital letter, and in the end by Sana you put the subject. If you want to mention the subject, if you don't want, it's your choice, right? And between them you put the rule of passive voice, which is be plus past participle. So you have a look at the main verb, and the tense of the main verb is past simple. So you come back to the chart, okay, so you go to the past, you will find we have was or were. Then you come back to the object. If it's singular then it's was, if it's plural then it's were. So we'll put was because apple is singular, then the main verb in the past participle. كما كتشوفوا راها سهله بزاف، غير كتبدل البلاصه ديال الاوبجيكت وديال السبجيكت وكتحط to be، كتحطو في tense ديال main verb، وكتحط من بعدها كتحط main verb في past participle. It's very easy. So we'll do the same thing with all the other 5 tenses, alright. So let's go. So I will do that fastly. You can pause the video if you want, because we have a lot of things to explain in this video, alright. So let's go with the present simple. We have Sana eats apple. We will underline the elements, then we'll put the object in the beginning, apple capital letter by Sana. If you want to mention the subject, then here be plus past participle. The tense of the main verb is present, so we have is or are. We must put is because apple is singular. Then the main verb in the past participle. In the future we have Sana will eat apple. We have we have apple in the beginning, object by Sana, then be plus past participle. The tense of the main verb is infinitive. Of course, after every model we have infinitive, so we put be. Alright, then the main verb in the past participle, then here we must put the modal will. Then here we have a conclusion of all what we did. In the present simple we have object plus is or are plus verb in the past participle plus by plus subject if you want to mention the subject. In the past simple, we have object plus was or were plus the verb in past participle, and in the future simple we have object plus will be plus the verb in the past participle. اذا اي واحد عنده مشكل في الباسيف فويس غادي غير تحفظ هاد القواعد هادو بالنسبه للبريزنت. عندناها يعني هاد الطريقه باش كنحطوه في الباسيف فويس وما غاديش يبقى عندك مشكل، وتحفظ دوك جوج جداول اللي قلنا في الاول، وديك الساعه ان شاء الله ما غاديش يكون عندك مشكل في الباسيف فويس. كما قلنا في الاول حنا هنا باش نبسطوا الامور. So as you can see, the only difference here is in the verb to be. We have in the present is or are, we have here in the past was or were, and in the future we have will be, and everything is the same, just the difference is in the verb to be. Alright, so let's move to the simple perfect tenses. We will do the same thing again. So with the past perfect we have I had written a letter. So you underline the elements, then you put the object in the beginning, capital letter, then in the end by what? I? No, it's by me, as we said in the chart. Alright, so here you put the rule be plus past participle. So you look at the tense of the main verb, it's past participle. In the past participle we have been. So been plus the main verb in the past participle, then here what we must put had. Yes, so let's move to the present perfect. As I said, you can pause the video. انا غادي نسر بشويه في هذا الفيديو، ما بغيتوش يكون طويل بزاف واخا خاصو الشرح لان كتعرفوا الجرامر. نتوما غتبقاو توقفوا الفيديو وجاوبوا واخا. يلا نكملوا. So let's we have here now another example. In the present perfect I have written a letter. So underline the element, the object in the beginning, a letter, capital letter, by me, not I. Here be plus past participle. Okay, sorry. We have here the tense of the verb. The main verb is past participle, we put been, then the main verb in the past participle, then here we must put what? Who said have? No, it's not have, it's has, because a letter is singular, not plural. So be careful here. Alright, عندكم شي واحد في ال present perfect يحط have. alright, لأن present perfect عندنا على حسب الأوبجكت تقدر تحط have أو لا has على حسب الأوبجكت إلا كان singular أو لا إلا كان plural. ولكن في past perfect ديما كتحط had هنا. okay, so let's move to the future perfect. So we have I will have written a letter. Underline the element as usually. Alright, the object in the beginning, the subject in the end, by me. Alright, here we must put the rule of the passive voice be plus past participle. Then we must put the verb to be in the tense of the main verb, which is past participle, which is been. Then the main verb in the past participle. Then here we must put the modal, alright, and have. So past we will put will have. Alright, so again the conclusion for all what we did. In the present perfect we have object plus have or has plus been plus verb in the past participle. In the past perfect we have object plus had plus been plus the verb in the past participle, and in the future perfect we have object plus will have plus been plus verb in the past participle. Alright, so again the only difference is in the verb to be, and we have in all the perfect tenses we have been. Alright, so the verb to be becomes been. Alright, so let's move to a short exercise. Again, as I said, you can pause the video if you want to answer before you see the answers. So change the following active sentences into passive ones. So we have here the first example. So the first thing you have to ask yourself is what is the tense, right? So إلا بغيتي أنك ما تلقاش مشاكل واش أنك تحول أي sentence ل passive voice، يكفي أنك تسول راسك شنو هو التنس ديالها، ولا سولتي راسك شنو هو التنس ديالها وعرفتي التنس اللي هو اللي عندنا مثلا هنا past perfect، يكفي أنك ترجع للقاعدة اللي حطيتها كconclusion إلا كنتي حافظها وغتبقى عليه وغيكون كلشي ساهل، ويكفي أنك تدير underline elements اللي قلنا وكلشي غيكون سهل، وتبقى تحط أو لا تحط الأوبجيكت في الأول والسبجكت في الاخر، ودير القاعده اللي قلنا ديال passive voice في الوسط ديال be plus past participle، وكلشي غيكون سهل. يعني سهله القضيه، يعني ما فيها حتى شي difficulties. Alright, so let's continue. So we must put the object in the beginning and the subject in the end. Then here be plus past participle. I don't know, I have a problem with this word, past participle. Alright, past participle, yeah. Then you put had. The second example, so what is the tense here again? It's alright, simple feature, yeah. So Hawla will study English tomorrow. Underline the elements, the object in the beginning, the subject here, and we have be plus past participle. Then we have will. Okay, so the last one is by the end of the day we will have painted at least 3 rooms. It's future perfect, so you put you underline the elements, then by the end of the day, so you put all these things in the beginning, then you put the object here, 3 rooms, then the subject in the end, and it's by us, not we, so we becomes us, then be plus past participle being painted, then we'll have. Alright, so we have here by the end of the day at least 3 rooms will have been painted by us. Now let's move to the passive voice with modals. Alright, so we'll see passive voice with modals in the present and in the past. So firstly you have to remember again this chart. Okay, as I said again, we are here to make the things easy for you and simple. So can in the past it's could, and in the perfect, in the simple perfect, it's could have. Alright, may, might, then might have, must have in the simple perfect and in the past. So must in the past and in the perfect. Okay, and the simple perfect it's must have, it's the same. Alright, have to becomes had to, should and had better, both of them becomes should have. So should كتولي should have و had better هي نفس الحاجة should have في الباست، كيتشاركوا نفس الباست. Alright, and out to in the past it's out to have. Then now let's move to exercises, or let's practice, not exercises. Alright, so in the present we have the first example, I can't drink alcohol. So you underline the elements, it's very easy, don't worry, because شي ناس غيسمعوا شي اسماء passive voice كذا passive voice with models كيتلفوا. It's very easy. Right, don't be scared. So in the beginning we must put the object, which is alcohol, then by me, not I, of course, and here we must put be plus past participle, which is drunk, not drink, drunk. Then here the model can. As you can see, the only change here is that we put the object in the beginning, which is alcohol, then we put be between the model and the main verb. It's very easy. Alright, so let's do the same thing. Alright, here I must revise my lessons. My lessons must, okay, be revised. It's very easy. Okay, here we have another example. You should clean the car. The car should be cleaned. Alright, as you see, it's very easy. So let's move to the passive voice with models in the past. Okay, here we have you must have finished the homeworks. So you see here we have you must have, we have must have, we have the model in the past, or I'm sorry, we have we call it the perfect model. All right, so underline the elements. The homeworks must, okay, let's put the subject in the beginning, and I'm sorry, in the end. Been, here we have the verb in the past participle, then we have here must have. As you can see, again, we put the object in the beginning, we put the perfect model here, then we put been between the perfect model and between the main verb, and we have now a passive voice sentence. So let's do the same thing here. We might have forgotten the bag. So you can pause the video and you do it. The bag might have been forgotten. So the third one, you ought to have sent the letter. The letter ought to have been sent. Alright, so let's have a conclusion. In the present, we have object plus model plus be plus verb in the past participle, and in the past we have object plus perfect model plus been plus verb in the past participle. So this is again a conclusion of it's the rule of which we use, alright, to change the active voice sentence, which include a model into a passive one, alright, in the present and in the past. So as you can see, it's very easy. If you didn't understand, of course, you can repeat the video again and again and again, alright. So now let's move to some exercises, to some more exercises. We'll practice more in this video because we want you to understand well, okay? So you can pause the video as I said. So the first example, I have find the ball. So the first thing you have to ask yourself, what is the tense? Is it the model in the present or in the past? Right, it's in the present, so I will use the first rule. The ball can't be found. Here the second example, he must have watched the video yesterday. The video must have been watched yesterday. The third example and the last one, she should download the picture. The picture should be downloaded. Alright, so now let's move to the indirect objects used as passive subjects. Alright, don't worry about the titles, it's very easy. So either indirect object or direct object can be a subject. What I mean? Let's see what I mean. Okay, so we have here an example. Someone gave Najat a gift. So the first thing, again, you underline the indirect object and the direct object. just you focus and you will see that it's very easy. Alright, so the indirect object is Najat and the direct object is a gift. If we want to make indirect object as a subject, we just need to put indirect object, of course, in the beginning, like this. Najat was given a gift. So as you can see here, we put the indirect object in the beginning as a subject. Then we have here the rule of the passive voice be plus participle. If you have a look at the main verb, it's in the past, so we put was, then the main verb in the past participle, then the direct object in the end. And if we want to make this sentence as if we want to make the direct object as a subject, what we have to do is just to put the direct object in the beginning, then the rule of the passive voice be plus past participle, then to. Alright, so remember that when you use the direct object as a subject, you must put to. Alright, we cannot say a gift was given Najat. No, you have to put to when you use the direct object as a subject. Alright, but when you use indirect object as a subject, you don't need to put to here. Okay, so remember that. Another example here, she bought me a car. Of course, the indirect object is me and the direct object is a car. If I want to make indirect object as a subject, what I have to do is to put the indirect object in the beginning, then the rule of passive voice be plus past participle, then the direct object. Here we have the same sentence in direct object as a subject. We have here a car was bought to me. Okay, so remember you have to put to when you use the direct object as a subject. So again, let's have a conclusion of what we have just did. So in the indirect object, we put indirect object plus be in the past participle, plus be in the tense of the main verb, plus the past participle, plus direct object. As we saw in the example, the direct object. So I have a mistake here. Don't worry. Yeah, no, I think there is no mistake. All right. You know my eyes, I cannot see well. So in the direct object, we put the direct object plus be in the tense of the main verb, plus the past participle, plus to, plus indirect object. I think I need glasses. I cannot see well. Okay, let's move to the last part, which is participial adjectives. Right? Don't worry about the title, it's very easy. So the rule says we use ing with the noun which gives the adjective, and we use ed with the noun which acquires the adjective. What I mean? Let's have an example. This is Sarah and this is John. Alright? Because of Sarah's boring story, John is bored. So that noun, that noun, story, gives the adjective which is boring. And John acquires the adjective bored. What I mean? So the story of Sarah is boring. That's why John becomes bored. So the story gives the feeling of being bored, and John acquires that feeling. Alright? So بالدارجة تدريجيت سارة قالت لجون واحد ستوري كتخلع واخا، فجون ولا مخلوع، فالستوري هي عطاتنا الاحساس ديال الخلعه. اوكي، عطاتنا داك الادجيكتيف ديال الخلعه، فاحنا اكتسبنا داك الادجيكتيف وولينا مخلوعين. alright, so هذه ببساطه القاعده ان هذاك الناون اللي كيعطينا الادجكتيف كنزيدوا ليه اي ان جي، وداك الناون واخا اللي كان يخلينا نكتسبوا alright، ولا داك الشخص اللي كيكتسب الادجكتيف كنزيدوا ed للادجكتيف alright. So let's have more examples to make it more clear. Sarah's story is frightening, so John is frightened. So story ديال سارة كتخلع فولا جون مخلوع. So story عطاتنا الاحساس ديال الخلعه، فجون اكتسب داك الخلعه ولا مخلوع alright. So the last example, because of Sarah's shocking news John is shocked. الاخبار اللي قالت ساره كيخلعوا فولا عفوا كيصدموا فولا جون مصدوم alright. So ان شاء الله يكون الشرح ان شاء الله فادكم، ان شاء الله تكونوا فهمتوا ان شاء الله هذه القاعده بطبيعه الحال هذه ديال participial adjectives alright. So yeah, thank you very much for watching and see you later.